The following is an excerpt from Back to Godhead magazine, which was started in 1944 in the middle of World War II by Mr. Abhay Charan, who would later become the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is an excerpt from an essay entitled Godhead and His Potentialities, covering the topic, Who is a Godless Man? A godless man does not know what he shall do and what he shall not. He is mostly unbeliever in the teachings of the different scriptures, and is generally atheist by nature. In his opinion, religion is superfluous and an unnecessary engagement, and as such he attacks religion, especially in the most brutal manner. He does not follow any injunction of the scriptures, but commits all kinds of sins which he could not have done by following the orders of the scriptures. He follows his own path and does not accept any authority. In his opinion, there is no cause of the creation of the universe except a desire for passion, as a child is born by the passion of a man and a woman. He does not find, therefore, any design behind the creation of the universe, and thus says that there is no creator whatsoever. The universe is a product of nature's fortuitous course, and there is no ultimate controller of nature. He finds every day that matter is unable to take any initiative of its own, and thus the world is produced by a chance assembly of atoms, and so forth. Without any fear of the authority, therefore, he finds it easier to preach his own way of thinking that there is no God at all. He says that everyone can manufacture his own religion, and thus the process of religiosity, so sublime and so divine, becomes a subject for his recreation. He preaches that there should be as many religions as there are men on the surface of the globe, and there is no necessity of accepting the fact that God is one and religion is one. In the opinion of a godless man, conception of Godhead is the product of devil's workshop in the idle brain. God is manufactured by designing brain of the professional class, and thus everyone and anyone can manufacture his own God and follow his own way of religiosity for so-called salvation. Thus, concluding, the godless man in demonic propensity engages himself in the service of Maya potency for the destruction of the world. Devoid of spiritual knowledge, he is less intelligent and works out foolish designs out of his foolish brain in order to create trouble in the world. He considers himself over-intelligent, and by his over-intellectual method he brings disaster on the tranquility of the world peace. He becomes a leader of similar, less intelligent persons and leads them also toward destruction, like the blind man leading another blind man to get themselves both fallen in the ditches. The motive power for such unlawful leadership is nothing but an unquenchable thirst for power, desire for domination, and unconquerable passion. This is hankering for recognition and drunkenness in power. Moved by such unholy passions, he starts all sort of agitation for the fulfillment of his manufactured ideals of world leadership. And thus, proceeding on his onward march, he is met with another demon of the like nature, and thus a clash begins between the rival demons. Both of them being godless, the Maya potency of Godhead takes them to task. Like the demon Maheshwar, the goddess engages such demons in fighting one another until they are individually or collectively vanquished by their own unholy engagements. She engages them just like a schoolteacher engages naughty boys in the business of pulling each other's ears by each of them. The demons are thus punished in their vain search out for recognition by the Maya potency. The godless man is always overwhelmed by material thoughts of unlimited measure. He not only thinks of his own sense gratification, but for the sense gratification of his family, society, country, nation, and so on, and that not only for one decade, but also for all the time to come after his death. He does not, however, understand that after his own death he has to change all the details of his caliber. Ignorantly situated, thus he accumulates wealth for the respective welfare works by committing all kinds of sins. For such welfare works, he does not hesitate to do harm to others in respect to his own family, society, country, or nation. Thus he becomes an ill-conceived leader of his family, nation, or society in order to satisfy an unquenchable desire for self-gratification without knowing the modes of nature by whom he is engaged in such unholy task up to the destruction of the creation, and without caring for the supreme authority who is competent and able to take care of all families, societies, countries, or nations without any distinction of caste, creed, and color. The godless man is bound up with so many hopes based on self-gratification and anger, and for the satisfaction of such unholy desires, he continues to accumulate worldly riches and powers by all possible means. The godless man thinks like this, quote, "I have got this thing today, and thus my mind is satisfied for the present. I have got so much, and in the near future this shall be increased again and again. I have killed that my enemy, and my other enemies will be killed in due course. There is no God, and if there is any God at all, he is my order supplier, or it is I. I am therefore Godhead, enjoyer, perfect, powerful, and happy, etc. I am recognized by all men on the earth, and who is there who can be my rival in so many respects? I shall therefore hoard up wealth for the benefit of me and my men." End quote. Thus he becomes more and more overwhelmed by the darkness of the goddess Kalika Devi, or the Maya potency, in order to perpetuate his life of darkness until the end of creation. The godless man also sometimes poses himself as a pseudo-religious man. He engages his men and money with pride and vanity in the so-called spiritual activities or religious ceremonies. By such performances, he wants to demonstrate the grandeur of his wrongly accumulated wealth in order to be recognized as a great devotee of God, not for the sake of Godhead, as he does not believe in the existence of him, but for the sake of his kinsmen, friends, flatterers, dictated by a false sense of respectability and aristocracy. Such godless man, however, envies the all-pervading Godhead situated along with him and also with other living entities. He thus makes unlawful animal sacrifices, and if any saintly man advises him not to commit such sinful acts, he casts aspersions on such saintly persons, propelled by his ill-acquired self-sufficiency, power, pride, passion, and anger, etc. Such hellish, godless persons are gradually forced to go down and down in the domain of darkness and in the kingdom of demons, so that perpetually they may suffer the pangs of the threefold miseries, as above mentioned, by the unfailing stroke of the trident in the hand of the Maya potency. In other words, such people are themselves responsible for gliding down to such a horrible state of life without any hope of deliverance from the clutches of nescience. But the all-merciful personality of Godhead is so kind to us that he has sent forth through his authorized agents scriptures like the Vedas and the Puranas. These transcendental sounds, when admitted by oral reception in a submissive mood by any man in the world, he can realize Godhead in the form of scriptures and saints, and then only he comes to his senses that it is Godhead, or his authorized agents only, that can deliver him from all miseries, and no one else.